Hi, this is Carol Murphy, and you're listening to Heartstock Radio. We're on Facebook. Just as a reminder, you can also email us at heartstockradio@gmail.com. This evening's guest, we have Barrett Seymour, who is a co-founder of MANDA. I'll bet you're wondering what MANDA is, right? You're going to enjoy this program, I think, very much. In just a moment, Barrett will be right back and tell us all about MANDA and himself. Thanks for listening. This is Heartstock.
Was made for you and me. As I went walking that Ribbon Highway, I saw above me that in the skyway I saw below me that Golden Valley. The twin was made for you and me.
This is Heartstock Radio. I'm Carol Murphy. This evening's guest, we have Barrett Seymour. Hi, Barrett.
Hello. Thanks for having me, Carol.
Thanks for being on Heartstock. What is MANDA? And I imagine this has been a monumental journey for you guys starting this company. So tell us a little bit about what MANDA is.
Yeah, definitely. MANDA is a personal care and sun care brand. We make, skincare, sun care, personal care products that are really focused on using the most pure, organic, food-grade ingredients that are safe for your body, safe for the planet, safe enough to eat even. Just made out of the most pure stuff and, with the best intention in mind, from sourcing of ingredients through manufacturing all the way to the shelf, really taking every component in consideration and trying to make a premium product that meets the standard that really we think all products should meet.
Mm-hmm. And there's some very interesting information, and I was doing a lot of research for our program today that I found fascinating. Probably many things about sunscreen in particular that many listeners may not be aware of. But before we go into the product itself, let's talk a little bit about your story and the story of your co-founders. How did you become an entrepreneur?
I think it's just been a little bit in my blood, so to speak. My family, my father and mother were both entrepreneurs, and even I myself in middle school and high school had little side businesses here and there, and I just kind of always was fascinated with trying to do things differently than everyone else, and I was never really too good at following the rules. So I always wanted to make my own rules kind of. And, even down to like how to play a certain sport. It's like, well, I want to do it this way, So, I don't know. I guess it's a bit of a personality trait, but yeah, the path to creating MANDA is a long one. I've had so many different jobs throughout my life. I've lost track of how many, but all of them to a certain degree have had some sort of entrepreneurial component. Actually, after graduating college, got into the real estate industry and quickly realized, well, I want to be, the boss here. So I'm going to start my own real estate company, and, did that for a bit and couple other small businesses here or there. And then I spent a few years just traveling. I lived abroad in China for a year. I lived in Mexico for a year and just really tried to taste a lot of different flavors, so to speak, and try as many different things as I could to figure out what I like and don't like. And kind of try to follow my passion, which really is geared towards the ocean, and surfing is my favorite hobby. Luckily enough, MANDA sort of fell on the back of that and gave me a chance to continue to pursue my passion. Obviously, as a surfer, sunscreen and personal care products are super important. And so, yeah, it was a chance to kind of create a business based around what I like to do. So, yeah.
So did you and a bunch of your surfing buddies get together and say, hey, this stuff we're using is potentially not good for us and not good for the reef? And then it evolved from there? Or how did you come up with the idea?
Yeah. So when we came up with the idea, we really didn't know much about sunscreen or, the harmful effects of products that are out there. We just knew that we wanted to create something that worked better. So, rewind a few years back, and we were all on a surf trip and really had tried pretty much every product out there, and found that one, we were still getting sunburn, but two, we were also getting a burn in our eyes, and being in and out of the water so much, it tends to cause the sunscreen to sort of leach off of your face and gets in your eyes and stings. And so, we're like, this just doesn't work, and we want to stay out here longer and do what we love. And there's got to be a better way to do this. And we really didn't know anything about it at the time, just that we knew that there was a better solution. So the idea was kind of like, hey, well, how do we create that? How do we make the better solution? And then once we dove headfirst into that, really uncovered all everything from what's out in many products, the majority of products out there today, and the harmful effects those have on the environment. And, what is the difference between a chemical-based sunscreen and a mineral-based or physical sunscreen? How do they function differently? Just really was totally a newbie to the entire exercise of learning how a sunscreen works, why it works. And so, spent a lot of time figuring that out and sort of figuring out what was going to make our product different and why it was going to be better and how it could function better. Mm-hmm. And to answer your question, it all started on just having a surf trip with my buddies who happened to be co-founders in the company as well.
And knowing that you could make something that worked better.
Yeah, exactly.
Desiring to have a product that you could use that was better.
Exactly. And our whole goal was like, hey, we want to be out in the water for, 4, 5, 6 hours at a time and not have to worry about coming back to the beach and reapplying or, getting sunburn, especially because, surfing is such a global thing, and it's probably the reason why I've been able to travel throughout a large part of the world. And so you're in a lot of different climates and, temperature ranges, and especially around the equatorial regions, the sun is super intense, and, you can start burning in 15, 20 minutes. So, creating a product that really had the performance and premium nature to stand up to kind of the harshest environments was priority number one. And then figuring out, okay, well, how do we make this earth friendly, and what are all the other pieces that are going to tie this in together in addition to just it performing well?
And how about your co-founders? You guys still surf together?
Oh yeah.
It could be trying being an entrepreneur with your friends.
Oh, definitely. Like a marriage.
Exactly.
We've had the highest highs and the lowest lows, and it's definitely put a test on our friendship, but it really proves how real it is, because we're still great friends and are able to work together every day and get a few surfs in every week. And I think just knowing them for so long too, you get a sense of understanding personality traits and just how to react to a certain scenario or drama that might happen, and when to pick and choose your battles. And fortunately we had a lot of practice doing that, in our younger years, and I think all see such a massive opportunity with this, that even when we do have a struggle or difficulty, we find a way to come together for the greater good and the vision we have for the company.
Tell us a little bit about the hazards of current products that many of us are probably using on a regular basis.
Yeah, there are so many. I really think, too, that we're just at the tip of the iceberg in terms of really finding out all of these hazards. But
yeah, that's what I noticed when I did research, is that there's been some, there's been some research and findings, but none of it is super conclusive.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot there. It's just something that in the recent future we've begun to really explore, and by we I mean the science community, the world as a whole. And lack of having a better example, I kind of liken it to the tobacco and cigarette industry. When cigarettes first came out, doctors used to recommend having a cigarette, and today if a doctor did that, they would lose their license. They wouldn't be in practice. And so, but it's taken so many years for the truth to really come out behind that and know how dangerous, those sorts of products are. And I really think that, sun care, personal care as a whole, we are just sort of scraping, like I said, tip of the iceberg and figuring out sort of what these issues are. But to really hone in on the key issues that we do know and have the scientific data to back up right now, it boils down to these synthetic man-made chemicals. Two of the most common culprits are called oxybenzone or octinoxate. These are basically SPF chemicals that may protect you from a sunburn, but what they're doing in terms of pollution of not only our oceans, but our rivers, our lakes, our watersheds is pretty appalling. And beyond that, I mean, we have the data to back it's being found in even in mother's breast milk. I mean, and to me, that's just like totally unacceptable. So, what these chemicals are doing are disrupting endocrine systems. They are killing reefs. They are deforming fish. Just a laundry list of terrible, terrible things. And, it's been the cheap, easy solution that I know I was brought up with as a kid, and that has kind of been the only option on the shelf for many, many, many years. And I think now as the science and data is coming out, people are really opening their eyes and going, wow, I had no idea that did that. Kind of like the example I gave, back when cigarettes sort of first came out, people had no idea that those health ramifications that would happen. So yeah, I'm really excited to share that and bring that awareness and help share the message with people, because I think it's something that everyone needs to be aware of, whether you live by an ocean or hundreds of miles away from an ocean. It's a global issue. It's not just a reef or ocean issue. And, even if you're, playing tennis in middle America and you go home and take a shower, all those chemicals are running off your body and polluting watersheds. And, it's a sad thing, but it's very encouraging because it creates opportunities for brands like MANDA to be the face of change and sort of create the opportunity to make something better that doesn't hurt people and that doesn't hurt the planet.
Yeah. And everybody probably knows this, but as soon as you put anything on your skin, whether it's sunscreen, any kind of product, it's absorbed through your skin. It doesn't just stay on the surface of your skin.
Exactly. Yeah. And the skin is the body's largest organ. Even just walking through a city, you're absorbing the air through your skin. If you're taking a shower, you're absorbing that water through your skin. And yeah, I think that's one of the major things that probably, we can identify right now is the difference between sunscreens that absorb into your skin or those that sit on top of your skin. So, chemical sunscreens that are based in like the oxybenzones or the avabenzones or the octinoxates, they absorb into your skin and use your skin as a filter to render the sun's UV rays inert. Whereas a physical block like MANDA sits on top of the skin and it actually acts like a shield and deflects the UV rays. So there's no penetration of those UV rays going into your skin. It's like having, a shirt on or a shield on that is simply deflecting that light back into the atmosphere. So, and then what absorption there is all organic food grade ingredients, basically food for your skin that you would want to absorb for its moisturizing properties, anti-aging, anti-acne properties, all healthful benefits that you would want to have in your body.
We're about at the halfway point. We're going to take a little break and we'll be right back and learn more about your entrepreneurial journey. Thanks for listening. Good evening. This is Heartstock Radio. I'm Carol Murphy, and we are here with MANDA co-founder and surfing enthusiast, Barrett Seymour. Thank you so much for being here, Barrett. Your product journey, share with us some of the challenges and difficulties and the path that you had to take to come up with this beautiful product that you now can offer.
Yeah. So really there were two main challenges. One was what's inside the package, and two was the package itself. And so, our criteria was this must be organic. These need to be the highest quality, most pure ingredients possible. And our packaging has to stand for the same ethos of being environmentally friendly and something that is 100% recyclable, but reusable as well. And also beautiful, that conveys a quality premium product. So to do that, we actually started in the kitchen and, we went to our local farmers markets and organic grocers and just picked up some ingredients, ordered a couple online as well. And we started just making this stuff in the kitchen, and we, tested a few batches and had a sort of crude example of what we thought was now something that we could really develop. So after a few revisions, we took this example to a professional chemist and we said, here's what we want. We want you to perfect it for stability. We want you to perfect it so that it meets the highest SPF standard. We want you to perfect it so that we're in compliance with all federal regulations, et cetera. So we took that formula to the chemist, and we worked and revised many, many times over the course of a year. I think about like 8 or 9 different revisions off of ours, and finally had a product where we're like, okay, this meets our performance standard. This meets the sustainability standard, the organic standard. It ticked all the boxes, and we were like, this is something we can bring to market. And so simultaneously was part 2, the packaging. And we looked at really the landscape of products out there, and it's hard to find a personal care product or sun care product that comes in a package that isn't plastic. Mm-hmm. And plastic is a whole nother podcast or discussion, but it's a disgusting problem in the world. It is just absolutely terribly sad to see the amount of plastic and trash that gets littered, especially into the ocean. And so we knew that we wanted to stay away from that, and that not only that would create something that set itself apart on a shelf, but that stood behind our ethos of doing good. And so, we looked into a bunch of different options and had to take into consideration, the permeability of the package and the process in which the package was created, and make sure that that package could withstand, heat in many tropical or equatorial sorts of environments. And it had its own laundry list of boxes that it had to be checked as well. And, we stumbled upon this basically aluminum tin with a bamboo sort of veneer finish. And we thought, wow, here's something that is totally sustainable. It is recyclable. It is reusable. And we're using bamboo, which gives this beautiful finish. And that is, a very easy plant to regrow and reuse. And so, hey, this works, and we don't see anything out there that looks like this or feels like this, and it's plastic free. And so we said, let's do it. And now we had our packaging right, and we had our formula right. So we just had to figure out, well, how are we going to bring this thing to life? So that probably led to the next step, which was, funding the first production run of our flagship product, our organic sun paste. And, none of us had a lot of money to contribute to that, and producing a product on a mass scale is very, very expensive. And so, we thought, let's turn to our community. Let's put it out to them and really let them decide, is this a product that they want to see come to life? And so we determined the best platform for that would be a Kickstarter. So just 3 years ago, actually, we just turned 3 this month, we launched our Kickstarter, and within the first week, we had hit our goal, and it really solidified that this was a product people were looking for, that meant something to them, that spoke to a new audience. And it just kind of gave us the confidence and solidified, like, hey, this is a great idea. And thank goodness we decided to do this. So by the end of our campaign, we had more than doubled our goal. And that put us sort of off to the races to bring this product to production and, fulfill all our backers' rewards. So it was just an amazing feeling to see that come to life.
And you have a very unique ingredient, and I'm not sure the correct pronunciation, Thanaka? Is that right?
Yeah, no, that's a perfect pronunciation. Yeah. So in addition to differentiating ourselves from a ingredient standpoint, packaging standpoint, we wanted to also sort of bring, and this comes from the travels of surfing, and actually we discovered this ingredient called Thanaka surfing in Southeast Asia. So Thanaka is a tree from Southeast Asia, and the locals there use the bark. They grind it into a powder and just mix it into a simple paste with water, and they use it as a skin treatment and a sun protection. And it has been used there for that purpose for more than 2,000 years. So, and funny enough, when the locals, when you see them wearing Thanaka on their face, it does have some similarities to the way we would look when we're surfing with sunscreen all over our face. So it was kind of ironic, but it was really important to us to incorporate sort of these indigenous traditions and implement them into a modern day application. And so it had some protective qualities already. It had the organic nature. It comes from a tree, so it's sustainable, and we do not have to rely as much on mined minerals, which lessens the amount of zinc oxide, the active, most safe SPF that you can use currently. It sort of limited the amount of zinc oxide that we had to use in our formula, thereby making it more sustainable as well. And it enabled us to tell the story of, what is this ingredient? How does it work? How is it good for your skin? Because in addition to being a sun protectant, it is also works wonders for moisturizing your skin, exfoliating, anti-aging, anti-wrinkle, anti-acne, antifungal. I mean, it just has so many health properties to it. So it was sort of the perfect tie-in to the whole story. We discovered it surfing, and it fit into, and it was a product or an ingredient rather, that is not being used by any other company in America. So it had a point of difference, and it made sense to use Thanaka. And we're huge fans of it. I use it actually all the time, even outside of the sunscreen products. I use Thanaka as well. So highly recommend it.
And how did you find an actual manufacturer? You're not making it in your kitchen anymore, but are there plans for that?
No, we have a proper manufacturer, with all the certifications and organic certifications here in California. So it's made in the USA. Nice. And really, we found them just by doing a ton of research and, seeing how different manufacturers work. What are the minimums? Do you have these certifications that we need? Do you produce to FDA standards? Do you have experience producing SPFs before? And just went through sort of this questionnaire with probably about 50 different manufacturers throughout the US, and landed on one that happened to be very close to where we live and made sense from all those different points of view.
So we've got about a minute left, and I was hoping, number one, that you could share your contact information, how folks might find you, and then this little tidbit at the end. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about? I really love what you're going to say there.
Sure. So the best way to reach me is we are at MANDA on Instagram. We are at MANDA Naturals on Facebook. You can go to our website, mandanaturals.com, and contact us. My email, barrett@mandanaturals.com. Any of those channels is perfect. We're on them all the time and would love to hear from any of you. That would be awesome. And as far as anything else I'd like to talk about, I just would really, really encourage people to take a hard look at everything they're using, they're purchasing, and really look deeper into that and the supply chain of it, and understand from the start to finish how that impacts their life and the world as a whole. And hopefully that spurs a positive change.
Conscious consumerism.
And we've seen now, I don't know if your listeners know, but Hawaii just passed legislation that bans 2 of the common chemicals we talked about earlier on in the show. oxybenzone and octinoxate. They are no longer allowed to be sold or used in Hawaii.
Yeah, thank goodness for them. And Barrett, we kind of ran out of time.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. But thank you so much for being on Heartstock.
Thank you, Carol. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I so appreciate it. I love what you're doing. And thank you again. It's been great.
This is Heartstock Radio. Thanks for listening. I'm Carol Murphy. See you next week.
And on the sign it said, no trespass.
Heartstock Radio is a production of KBMF 102.5 Butte America Radio. Hear our live programs every Friday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time via livestream at butteamericaradio.org.
That sign was